Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Well, surprising many yesterday, the Prime Minister has announced that Australia will recognise the state of Palestine, contributing to an international move towards a two-state solution, a ceasefire in Gaza and release of the hostages. It is a lot to wrap our heads around. What does it mean for our international relations? Was this led by so many protesters recently? What does it all mean? Well, let's chat to Foreign Affairs expert Dr. Keith Suter. Keith, hello.
Yes, good morning.
Well, was this a surprise? It seems that just a few weeks ago, Anthony Albanese was saying this wasn't on the cards.
Well, it was a question really of when it was going to be done rather than if. So we knew that it was in the wind, because you can see that Australia's other allies, like Canada, the United Kingdom, France, were moving in that direction. So Australia has decided to join that bandwagon. 3/4 of the world already recognise Palestine. So Australia and a few other countries are bringing up the rear.
And this is just a gesture from our point of view, though?
Well, Australia is not a major player in the Middle East, but it does add to the momentum, I guess, for the recognition of Palestine. But if you're really concerned about the suffering that's going on this very day, it's not going to make much of a difference at all.
We've broken with the United States and obviously with Israel in doing this. Is this a sign of the new world order that we're no longer so concerned about what America thinks?
Well, I think America is no longer worried about what the rest of the world thinks. And so they're withdrawing from a lot of their international commitments. I think the big thing for America and Australia is China. So although America might be annoyed temporarily with what Australia has done over Palestine, the long-term game that America is playing is how do you manage to restrain China? And if you're going to restrain China, you've got to have Australia on side. So we also matter to America in its long-term struggle with China. So I think that Trump might be annoyed for about 5 minutes. Remember, he has the concentration span of a flea, and then he'll move on to some other issue. So I don't think it'll be long-term dangerous consequences for our relationship with the United States.
And our recognition of Palestine comes with a caveat, meaning that Hamas is no longer running the joint. Is that true?
That's true. So Hamas controls one part of the Palestinian entity, which is on the Gaza Strip, and there's another Palestinian organization that controls the West Bank, which is a much larger area. And so what countries are saying, including the Arab League is 22 countries formed after World War II who could never agree on anything, and yet in the last few days they've all come together to agree that Hamas should not be part of any sort of long-term settlement in the Middle East. So we're getting an international opposition to Hamas that's been building up.
What impact will this have on Israel's decisions in the next few weeks?
I don't think it'll have much at all. Prime Minister Netanyahu has expressed his anger at what Australia has been doing, along with France, UK, etc. But he's got his own long-term agenda for trying to reoccupy Gaza. This is very controversial, even within Israel itself. There are a lot of people who have worries about trying to reoccupy all of Gaza, and that also includes his own defence force. The head of his defence force has actually come out and opposed the Prime Minister, which is bizarre. So you've got worries in the defence force, former intelligence agencies, and a lot of ordinary Israelis who are saying, we don't want to go back into that mess. We don't want to go back to reoccupying Gaza. So Prime Minister Netanyahu, who's got one of the most difficult jobs in the world, has got right-wing members in his cabinet keeping him in power, and they're the ones who are saying, we've got to reoccupy Gaza. Meanwhile, many of his own citizens are saying, no, we don't agree with that.
With this recent decision, what role do you think that the recent protests have had and the people power we've seen?
I think that the protest, particularly the one that took place in Sydney over the Harbour Bridge, has taken everybody by surprise. It was dreadful weather. The rain was bucketing down, and yet you had that record number of people attending the rally. And I think that would send a clear message to the politicians that this is an issue which has really touched people's hearts. I've been talking on the Middle East now for half a century. I have never yet before noticed how much sympathy there is now for the Palestinian cause. There's been a real sea change in opinion. Previously, people would have been very sympathetic towards Israel. That's the environment in which I grew up in. You know, brave little Israel, sort of taking on all the Arab countries, etc. Now, Israel is seen as an aggressor country, punishing poor Palestinians. So there's been a huge sea change in public opinion. And I think our politicians belatedly have come to realize that there has been this change. And so, as you know, with a politician, they always have to find the crowd and they run in front of it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the Prime Minister has done.
Well, hopefully they can sort it out. That'd be great. If they could sort it out by the end of the year, we'd be happy with that.
End of the week. Let's
we
make
could
it
all
end of the
move on
week.
and just, it'd be great.
Look, I'm very pessimistic about the Middle East. You've got too many people making too many claims on too little land. So I think it's going to be very difficult to have any long-term peace settlement there.
Well, Dr. Keith Suter, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
again.
it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.